George Lucas's timeless, beloved classic Star Wars universe just can't seem to stop expanding their universe with yet another prequel to a beloved character. Before we continue, I'd like to give you a warning that there are spoilers, but if you want to continue to see if the show is worth your time, then let's go forward with the video. Everyone has a story, and we get to see more into the story of Obi-Wan, but surprisingly, we get a recap. Showing a direct connection is not something we usually get in continuations like these, especially years after creation. The first episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi opens with a bang. As most Star Wars fans, we just can't get enough of a good Order 66 flashback sequence. Presumably, this is the origin of our third sister as well. Disney Plus's decision to release a Star Wars limited series and open the series with such an important moment in Star Wars history is sure to invoke such strong feelings in fans. While fans thoroughly enjoyed this moment, we were scared it would lead to the series possibly relying on fan service to entice us. Turns out we were extremely wrong. While Obi-Wan Kenobi certainly relies on fan service to some degree, it is clear so far it won't hinder the series. The idea of focusing on Kenobi, the title character, while building upon previous materials in Star Wars has so far been perfect. This series has done the best job of balancing the story while also including things we know and love. Being that this is the first episode of the series, I could see it progressing into relying too heavily on fan service and limiting Obi-Wan's story. However, the director Deborah Chow, who worked on the hit success that is The Mandalorian, is the sole director on this show. It is sure to be in good hands to some degree. Her work is amazing, and it's no surprise that once again, she is delivering us some terrific Star Wars content. Ewan McGregor nails it once again as Obi-Wan. McGregor is a fantastic actor, of course, but it's clear that Obi-Wan is the role he was born to play. Just like Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark or Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. While most performances in the show outside of him are great, seeing Jimmy Smits and Joel Edgerson reprise their roles were fantastic. It is interesting to see that this is a limited series that will have 6 episodes. The episodes will clock out around 45 minutes, and of course, we will receive the classic credit scenes. This can be upsetting and also worthy of being praised. They don't want to overstay their welcome. This is a straight-to-demand show, not a cable series. While people may want more of Obi-Wan's life story leading up to every event until the prequels, this seems not to be the case. However, we would wish to see some of Obi-Wan's earlier years training under Qui-Gon Jinn as a young Padawan. This seems to be more of a redemption story of how Obi-Wan got back on his feet and how Leia found her shining light of hope that will help her form the person we all know her as. The show so far has had an amazing look and feel to it. Chung Hoon framing and shooting of this show have made Obi-Wan Kenobi look incredible on our screens. We are very anxious to see how the eventual lightsaber fights will look, especially the big one that is bound to happen. It doesn't seem like much fun being a Jedi during times like these. This fact becomes even more apparent when we see the state Obi-Wan is in. He has fallen from Jedi Master Council member and being renowned as negotiator to working a job cutting meat, even stealing a piece for himself. A Jedi named Nari spots Obi-Wan Kenobi asking for his help when we get the reply, "The Jedi you are looking for is not here."
What happened to you? You were once a great Jedi.
The time of the Jedi is over.
This line being a nice nod to the classic scene from the original Star Wars trilogy of movies. A little part of everyone had a better day after hearing this. It's just far too iconic. Too bad Al Guinness didn't think so. It becomes even more evident when not only does Obi-Wan turn down the Jedi in need, he also goes as far as encouraging him to give up.
The fight is done. We lost.
The state we see him in is truly depressing to see. The sarcastic and charming Jedi doesn't seem to be there anymore. As for Leia, we get to see some of the personality she will later display in the original trilogy, with her quick wit and adventurous and fearless nature. We get some insight of her quick thinking as she verbally slices and dices her unpolished cousin, who rudely spoke harshly about her not being one of them, and saying how she cannot leave their planet.
You're not one of us.
While not an important part of the Star Wars lore, Bassus Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers appears in yet another film, this time playing bounty hunter Vec Nokru. This would be the 3rd Disney-produced film that he's acted in, counting his role as Mind Worker Cop Jay in Inside Out and the TV announcer for Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4. The way the Jedi are spoken about throughout this first episode would naturally upset any Star Wars fan, especially hearing Owen telling Obi-Wan that he failed with Anakin and would fail with Luke as well. Obi-Wan proves that he's wrong in the original trilogy, but he won't be alive to know that. This moment will forever haunt him as a constant reminder that it was his fault that Anakin turned to the dark side. Some could say this is even traumatizing. But he still insists that Luke must learn that there is a world beyond their small farm on a desert planet. But Owen refuses, telling him to stay away from young Luke, for he is happy where he currently stays. As we know, Obi-Wan succeeded strongly with Luke, as shown in the original trilogy.
Obi-Wan has taught you well.
But Owen will not have it, not even allowing him to keep Obi-Wan's small gifts. He should let the kid at least keep the toys. Kind of a jerk move, if you ask me. We find out that Obi-Wan keeps both his and Anakin's lightsabers buried. A piece of him still holds onto remembrance of someone who was once a brother to him, in his final hours killed by his hands. With both Princess Leia and the Jedi who was captured, it seems as if he was destined to come back. The first episode took no time at all to put things into motion and introduce us to the characters. Princess Leia and Reva seem to be a driving force for the story to come in future episodes. And it seems like we might not be seeing or hearing much about young Luke Skywalker. The best scenes in episode 1 are Ben Kenobi trying to fit into the arid nature of Tatooine. He barters toys with Jawas, rides to and from work with other sad sacks, and spends his nights fighting off dreams about Anakin Skywalker, his former apprentice turned Sith Lord. Fifth brother, played by Sung Kang, is fantastic. His vocal modulation and looks makes everything work. Every Star Wars villain has something that really makes them stand out. We did hope to see something a little more interesting from Reva, the third sister.
You are too impulsive.
The shot of the lightsaber hanging from his hip once again is enough to drive anyone wild in excitement for the adventures and redemption of Obi-Wan in episodes to come. Mostly, we just want to see some awesome fights and force choking. Some fans may be a little anxious to see the fight scenes and dive deeper into the Star Wars universe. However, there isn't much action in this first episode. It's focused mostly on setting the tone. Maybe after a few episodes, it will start to jump into deeper waters. For some, currently it's fallen to shallow water and could almost pass off as a student film rather than something of a larger budget. However, after seeing episode 2, those thoughts did start to fade away, and it gained a newfound respect among fans. Something that is very interesting to think of is the thought of the beloved Yoda joining the show. He has mentioned he's teaching Obi-Wan how to use the Force to talk to his master Qui-Gon Jinn again. We may get a training montage in future episodes, maybe after he saved Princess Leia.